You see these stories online. You hear about data breaches on the news, about scams so clever they could fool literally anyone. The headline screams, "They stole everything." How a single email cost a family their life savings. And you always think, that won't happen to me. But what if it does? What if, right now, someone is knocking on your digital door, testing the locks, just waiting for you to make one tiny mistake? With all these hackers and scams out there, how can anyone actually feel safe online? It's an awful feeling, like you're living in a glass house and any stranger can see everything you do. I decided I was done feeling vulnerable. I had to understand what was standing between me and them. That's when I noticed it. Every security guide, every article, the same word kept popping up: firewall. The internet today is not what it used to be. We're not talking about some random computer virus that makes your screen go fuzzy. The threats today feel personal. They're smart. You get emails that look exactly like they're from your bank, using your name and perfect logos. You get texts about a package you supposedly ordered, telling you to click a link right now. It feels like you're in a constant, low-level war, and the battlefield is your own data. That night, after reading about that family, I couldn't shake the feeling of being totally exposed. Think about it. Every single device in your house, your phone, your laptop, your smart TV, even the thermostat on the wall is connected to the internet. They're all doors. A hacker doesn't need to pick the lock on your front door if they can just walk straight in through your Wi-Fi. It's a terrifying thought. All this convenience has created 100 back doors we never even think about. I had this urgent need to take back control, to build a defense. But where do you even start? You can't just unplug from the world, so I started searching how to protect yourself from hackers, how to secure your home network. And there it was again, firewall. What even is it? The name sounds so intense, a wall of fire, but what does it actually do? Is it a program? A physical box? Is it just a setting I need to flip on? I was confused, but I was also hopeful. Hopeful that this firewall was the answer I was looking for. My journey to getting some peace of mind started with one simple question. What is a firewall?
So many of us have heard the word, but it feels like this weird, abstract thing. Let's make it simple. Imagine the internet is a massive, chaotic city. It's full of amazing things, but it also has some really dangerous neighborhoods and people you want to avoid. Now, imagine your home network, your computer, your phone, all your devices, is your private house in that city. You would never, ever just leave your front door wide open for anyone to walk in. That would be insane. You need a way to control who comes in and who goes out. A firewall is the security guard you post at the front gate. It's a digital bouncer that stands between the wild public internet and your private network. Every single piece of information trying to get in or out, an email, a website loading, a movie streaming, is like a little car trying to pass the gate. These little data cars are called packets. The firewall's only job is to inspect these packets. It looks at each one and asks a bunch of questions based on a rule book. It's like a guard with a very specific checklist. Where is this packet from? Where is it going? Is this source a known troublemaker? Is the destination safe? Is this type of car even allowed on this property? Okay, I'm starting to get it. This isn't just a wall. It's an active security system. A traffic controller with a rule book. It's not about blocking everything. It's about making smart decisions every single second for every tiny piece of data. So when I visit a website, the firewall lets the website's data in because I ask for it. But if some random packet from a sketchy address suddenly tries to access my laptop, the firewall is the guard that steps in and says, "Nope, you're not on the list. Access denied." It's a gatekeeper, and its main job is to stop anyone who wasn't invited. As I kept digging, I realized that firewall isn't just one thing. There are two main types, and you're probably using both of them right now without even realizing it. They work together to create layers of security, something the pros call defense in depth. First up, the hardware firewall. Think of our security guard again. A hardware firewall is like the main security gate at the entrance to a huge gated community. It protects every house inside, not just one. This guard doesn't care which specific house you're going to. Their job is to secure the whole perimeter. If you're not allowed into the community, you can't get near any of the houses. For most of us, our hardware firewall is built right into our Wi-Fi router, that little box with the blinking lights. It sits at the very edge of your network and is the first line of defense for every single device connected to it. Your laptop, your phone, your smart TV, your gaming console,
everything. It's broad and protects your entire digital family at once. Then there's the software firewall. If the hardware firewall is the guard for the whole neighborhood, a software firewall is a personal bodyguard standing right in front of your individual apartment door. It's a program running on a single device, like your laptop. Windows and Mac OS have powerful software firewalls built right in. This bodyguard gives you a more personal level of protection. For one, it protects you when you leave the neighborhood. If you take your laptop to a coffee shop and connect to their public Wi-Fi, your router's hardware firewall is back at home. In that coffee shop, your software firewall is your only defense against other people on that same network. But it can also do something a hardware firewall usually can't. It controls which specific apps on your computer can talk to the internet. It sees your web browser sending and receiving data and says, yep, that's normal. But if some weird program you've never seen before suddenly tries to send your personal files to a random server, the software firewall can block it and warn you. This is a huge realization. I have 2 layers of protection. My router is the frontline soldier, protecting my entire home from outside attacks. Then, my laptop's own firewall acts like a secret service agent, protecting that one device from outside threats and from sketchy programs on the inside. It makes so much sense. You need both. One to guard the perimeter and one to guard the crown jewels inside.
So we have these guards, but how do they decide who's a friend and who's an intruder in a split second? This is where it gets really cool. They have different ways of thinking. The most basic method is packet filtering. This is a stateless firewall. Imagine a bouncer at a crazy busy club who's just focused on speed. They don't have time for chit-chat. They only look at the from address and the to address. The rules are simple. Is this from a known bad address? Blocked. Is it going to an approved destination? Go ahead. It's incredibly fast, but it's also simple-minded. It has no memory. It treats every single data pocket like a brand new event, which means clever hackers can sometimes trick it. This leads to the much smarter and more common method, stateful inspection. Now, imagine a more experienced guard. This guard doesn't just check addresses, they carry a little notebook that tracks all the conversations. When you, from inside your house, send a request out to a website, the guard writes it down. Alex just started talking to website.com. I should expect a response. When packets start arriving from that website, the guard checks their notebook. Oh yes, these packets are part of the conversation Alex started. They're expected. Let them through. This is called maintaining the state of the connection. But what happens when an uninvited packet from a hacker shows up? The guard checks their notebook. There's no record of you ever talking to this guy. The packet isn't part of an approved conversation. Blocked. That's the fundamental difference. A stateful firewall understands context. It knows the difference between a reply you asked for and a random knock on the door. This is the standard for pretty much all modern firewalls because it's a giant leap in security. Finally, for the highest level of security, there are proxy firewalls. Think of this as the ultimate security detail for a president or a celebrity. This guard doesn't let anyone talk to you directly. Instead, you give your message to the guard. The guard takes it to a separate secure room, inspects it completely, and if it's safe, they create a clean copy and send it out themselves. The outside world only ever talks to the guard. This gives incredible security because it inspects the actual data and hides your location. But all that inspection can be slower, which is why you mostly see it in big corporations. So it's a spectrum of intelligence, from a simple ID checker to a smart guard with a memory to a full-blown intermediary. And the key is that stateful notebook. That was the aha moment for me. My firewall isn't just looking at addresses. It's tracking entire conversations. It knows what I asked for, so it knows what to let back in. That's how it keeps the unexpected and the unwanted out.
Okay, so we get the mechanics, but the original fear wasn't about packets and ports. It was about hackers and losing everything. So how does this translate to real-world protection? First, it stops unauthorized access. Hackers use automated tools to scan millions of internet addresses, checking every digital door and window to see if one was left unlocked. A firewall's most basic job is to make sure all your doors are locked by default. When a hacker scan hits your network, the firewall just stays silent. To the hacker, it looks like no one is home. This one simple thing stops a huge number of automated attacks. Next, It helps contain malware and botnets. Let's say you mess up and click a malicious link. Firewall can't always stop that first click, but a lot of malware needs to phone home to a hacker's server to steal your data or get new instructions. This is where your software firewall becomes the hero. It can see that some new, unauthorized program is trying to connect to the internet. The firewall's rulebook says this program doesn't have permission to talk to anyone. It blocks the connection, trapping the malware. It can't send your data out, and it can't get new orders. This also stops your computer from being turned into a zombie in a botnet. The firewall cuts the puppet strings. Finally, it helps fight denial of service attacks, or DOS. This is less like a burglary and more like a giant mob blocking your front door so no one can get in or out. Hackers flood your connection with so much junk traffic that it just shuts down. A stateful firewall is smart enough to see an insane number of requests coming from one place and can update its rules on the fly to just start dropping all the junk traffic from that source, keeping your connection alive. It all connects. That scary social engineering trick often ends with malware. And while the firewall might not stop you from clicking, it can be the hero that stops that malware from sending your bank password back to the hacker. It's fighting a war on two fronts, keeping attackers from getting in and trapping threats that are already inside. It's a silent guardian I never even knew I had. Understanding these layers is the first step to feeling confident online. A firewall is a powerful tool, but you need to know it's working for you. If this breakdown is helping, clicking that subscribe button helps us make more guides just like this one, breaking down complex security into simple, actionable knowledge. Cyber threats never stop evolving, so firewalls are evolving too. The latest version is the Next Generation Firewall, or NGFW. If a stateful firewall is a smart security guard, an NGFW is a full-blown intelligence agency. It does everything a stateful firewall does, but adds more layers of advanced tech. It can do deep packet inspection, meaning it can actually open up the data packets and look for malicious code inside. It has application awareness, so it doesn't just see web traffic, it knows if that traffic is from Netflix or from a sketchy file sharing program. They even have intrusion prevention systems, or IPS, that are trained to recognize the specific signatures of cyber attacks and block them before they even start. These used to be just for giant companies, but a lot of these features are now trickling down into the routers and security software we can all buy. But with all this tech come a few myths that need to be busted. Myth 1, I have a Mac, so I don't need a firewall. This is just wrong. While Macs might be targeted less often, they are absolutely still targets. The good news is, like Windows, Mac OS has a great built-in software firewall. You just need to make sure it's turned on. Myth 2, a firewall will make my internet slow. 10 years ago, maybe. But today, this is basically a myth. The processors in modern routers and computers are built for this. Any impact on speed is so tiny you'd never notice it. And a secure connection that's 1% slower is infinitely better than a fast connection that's wide open to hackers. Myth 3, my firewall protects me from all viruses and threats. This is the most critical myth. A firewall is not a magic shield. Its main job is to control traffic at the gate. It can't stop you from being tricked into giving away your password in an email. A firewall is your first and most important line of defense, but it can't be your only line of defense. It's a key player on a team, not a solo superhero. It's weird. After all this, the internet doesn't feel scarier. It feels manageable. I get the threats now, but I also get the defenses. The firewall is my digital guardian, standing watch 24/7. It watches the gates, it checks the traffic, and it slams the door on hackers. I know it's not an impenetrable force field, but understanding what it does and what it doesn't do is everything. It's the first and most important step to taking back control of my digital life. You heard him. The firewall is the foundation of your security. Let's do a super quick recap. A firewall is a security system that controls incoming and outgoing traffic. It exists as both hardware, like your router, and software, like the program on your laptop. It is your first line of defense against the massive number of attacks. But a firewall is part of a team. The guard at the gate needs a partner inside the house, actively looking for threats that might have been smuggled in. That partner is your antivirus software. To learn how that essential tool works and why you need it to complete your defense,
Make sure you watch our next video right here. And for more weekly cybersecurity tips made simple, so you can feel as confident as I do, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Stay safe out there.